Hello and welcome everyone to UPSCprep.com. We have with us Amartya Gupta today, who has secured a rank of 642 in this year's Civil Services exam. So, congratulations, Amartya, and welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you, sir. I'm doing good.
So, Amartya, you have been a working candidate, and like I would love to know more about that. कि भाई क्या चीजें हो रही हैं, कैसे, and like how can working candidates prepare? But before that, just give us a brief about आपका background क्या है, मतलब where were you born and brought up, schooling कहाँ से हुई, so that people get to know you a little.
Sure, sir. So, I'm originally from Bihar, from the
Hmm.
district of Bhagalpur. But due to my father is a PGT English teacher in the Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, so we
Hmm.
moved around a lot. So I've been settled in Bangalore with my family for roughly over 12 to 14 years almost.
Hmm.
I've completed my graduation in mechanical engineering from NIT Surathkal, Karnataka.
Hmm.
Uh, that was in 2019. And after that, I worked for 3 years in different consulting firms like ZS Associates and
Hmm.
Thorogood Associates. And then in the year of 2022, I decided to take a break
Hmm.
to start studying for civil services. And then I gave 3 attempts. And now in the 2024 one, I've managed to secure a rank in the holy PDF.
Right. And
Yes, sir.
in between, you also like sort of took up jobs again, फिर on and off कुछ कुछ चल रहा था उसमें क्या चल रहा था?
Yes, sir. So 2022 में, sorry, 2020, yeah, actually 2022 का interview when I had reached there, and again when the results came out that I was not able to get it,
Hmm.
and immediately after that I gave my 2023 ka prelims,
Hmm.
and again because of the way I was not prepared for the CSAT and the way different questions came in GS, I somehow could not again clear that exam as well,
Hmm.
and that was again a issue for me. So that phase was a little difficult, little demoralizing to go so high in one attempt and then be brought back down to earth in the next one. So
Hmm.
in that phase, for about a period of 4 months, I had taken up a job somewhere between October of 2023 to
Hmm.
January of 2025. Uh, sorry, yeah,
24.
2024.
Hmm.
Yes. So I had taken that job up just simply to to build some confidence in me that even if this doesn't work out, I'll still have an option in the corporate world,
Hmm.
and it gave me the right kind of boost. And once I was able to accept that, I knew that finding a job would not be that difficult, and there's always something out there for me. So I just thought, let me give one final attempt with 100% dedication, and I left
Hmm.
that as well, and then went ahead. So
Right. So, मतलब अमरता, when did you sort of come to this realization कि नहीं UPSC करना है? Because you worked for 3 years, as you said. तो मतलब
yes,
that's
sir.
not a मतलब short period. And तब तक I think वो जो फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम वाली चीजें हैं, जो मतलब वो कॉर्पोरेट चिल लाइफस्टाइल वाली चीजें हैं, आई थिंक दोज टेक अ होल्ड ऑफ यू. सो व्हाट मेड यू sort of take that drastic decision of okay, I'm going to quit everything and prepare?
I mean, this idea of civil services was there in my head since school.
Hmm.
Matlab, I come from Bihar, so it's somehow in our genes to at least give one attempt at it.
Hmm.
But matlab, I had tried to stay away from doing it simply because family ka pressure ho ya fir
Hmm.
society ka pressure ho. But since I was working for 3 years, I then COVID struck. So in that phase, that 2022 year or
Hmm.
2021 year, I was reading a lot of books. I
Hmm.
had more time to read, so I read a lot of books from Bipin Chandra, Ramachandra Guha, Zia Modi's book on. I think there's a book. He has written a book on
Hmm.
constitutional cases. So all of these books, when I read, I realized that I like these subjects. It started to kick something inside me about what I want to do in the future. It gave
Hmm.
me a vision, a literal why of why I want to do civil services.
Hmm.
So once I figured that out, I just internalized it, thought about it for a while, looked at the exam, saw what I could actually bring to it, and what strategies I could make.
Hmm.
Once I reached a conclusion that this is possible, I just told my parents that I want to try it, and things just started spiraling from there. So
Right. So, like, how did you reach this conclusion कि भाई हाँ ये किया जा सकता है?
I कैसे किया जा सकता है? I think it's a tougher
मतलब
question. I
नहीं,
mean,
for you personally, like
हाँ
you
हाँ.
said ना कि भाई I reached this conclusion कि भाई this can be done, and then obviously once you have reached that conclusion, तो then naturally the next step to take is okay, मतलब let's get on with it.
Yes,
So
sir.
what were the things that you considered which made you sort of understand कि हाँ ये I can do this?
Mhm. So, the things that I took into consideration, of course, number one was I know that this exam can be very draining in
Hmm.
terms of, whether it is financially, whether it is emotionally, wo sab tha.
Hmm.
So, in financial aspects, since I had 3 years ka experience, I had some amount of piggy bank saved up for me, so I could support my family, and my
Hmm.
family was not in an urgent need as well. Luckily, we were financially stable enough to that they could support me. Second, the emotional backing, of course, from my parents and my family, that was always present. My friends as well. I had talked to them. I had talked to some of the uh, folks who had given this exam as well.
Hmm.
So getting that experience was also important. Understanding that where they went wrong, and since these were very close people to me, I knew
Hmm.
that okay, they were very open about what went wrong in their journey. So I
Hmm.
learned that quickly. So I took these things into consideration, and since I had the emotional support, I had the financial backing, and I knew that with my work experience background, I
Hmm.
can always find a job at any point of time. It was not something that it hung over my head, and it was again the COVID phase as well. So I had enough time to study. There was nothing happening outside that I could go back to or something. So,
Hmm.
and again, these are from the external environment perspective. Internally था कि मतलब why I want to do these services, what is my end goal to it, what is the vision I want to build. And
Hmm.
again, here a lot of the books that I read started, they educated me on where our country stands today,
Hmm.
what I can bring a change to it. And
Hmm.
once I started, again, I won't go into the details of that, but once I started internalizing that, I was able to build, okay, this is what I want to do. I have the time, I have all the support I need.
Hmm.
Let's just give it a shot. And again, here again, the idea was not to give, 6 attempts or, 4, 5 attempts and just let my life drag on in that. The idea was that to give good, solid 2 attempts. And then, if it works, great. If not, then exit. So once I had these variables fixed in my life, I was able to make a better call, sir.
Right. So अब जैसे a lot of people have this I think कि भाई I'll give two serious good attempts and if it happens happens if it doesn't like I'll figure out. So
Yes, sir.
since you made it to the interview in the first attempt itself
Yes,
and
sir.
then second where you flunked in prelims.
Yes, sir.
So then what was going on in your head कि भाई क्या चल रहा है क्यों हो रहा है?
I think, I mean, when I got that, it was extremely disappointing to
Hmm.
go through that kind of high phase. But I also knew at the back of my head that I was not prepared for my 2022 attempt. I
Hmm.
mean, at that time, in your mains attempt, when you know that you've qualified, right? You ideally are supposed to be revising your concepts. You're ideally
Hmm.
supposed to be writing more papers, analyzing them. But here I was, matlab 90-95% of my PSI optional is not complete. I'm making notes on the go. So I
Hmm.
knew कि मतलब getting to the interview and any rank beyond that was मतलब it was difficult. I did it because I wanted to. I wanted this, it, I just wanted it कि मतलब पहले बार में ही हो जाए. So it
Hmm.
was just sheer will that just
Hmm.
pushed me through it. But at the back of my head, I knew कि it was a very difficult thing. So
Hmm.
that when it didn't happen, I was emotionally distraught. Matlab, it was difficult to accept. Uh, self confidence, kabhi, it was a low point for me.
Hmm.
But again, here I just want to thank my family members and my really close friends. They just kept reminding me about what my worth is. They kept telling me whenever I had that self doubt wala moment, look, you have come so far. You
Yeah.
obviously have it in you. So let's just give it one final push. You deserve it.
Hmm.
So somehow I just pushed through it, and yeah, here we are.
So I think that's always sort of a contrast of achievement and failure that sort of hits you the hardest. So
Yes.
if let's say आप मेंस में रुक गए होते फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट पे तो सेकंड प्रीलिम्स माइट नॉट हैव हिट यू एज मच बट लाइक यू वेंट टू द इंटरव्यू एंड देन फिर वो फटका लग के बाहर आता है इंसान तो फिर खुद से ही मतलब वो होता है.
I would just like to interrupt you, sir.
प्लीज.
So my father actually, when I gave my exams and everything, second attempt में नहीं हुआ, so he told me that he was just praying कि मेरा first attempt में बस prelims निकल जाए, ताकि ऐसा disappoint ना हो मैं ज़्यादा life में. And he was like, ये तो तुमने मतलब पता नहीं कैसे मेंस भी निकल गया, इंटरव्यू में तक आ गए. So he just shared his lighter moment so that like I understood कि मतलब he मतलब this exam is very tough. And
Hmm.
without the right preparation, without the right strategy, there's so many variables to it.
Hmm.
So anything can go wrong, and your entire rank can differ by a huge margin. You might not even be part of the rank list.
Hmm.
So he just wanted to let me know कि it's a tough journey. Don't
Hmm.
lose heart and just keep trying. मतलब give your best. So yep, that was.
आई थिंक दैट्स एब्सोल्युटली वंडरफुल एंड समटाइम्स जब पेरेंट्स इतना सपोर्टिव होते हैं कि भाई वो भी आपका इमोशनली भी आपको गेज कर पा रहे हैं कि भाई देख मतलब ऐसा होना है तो टेंशन ना ले चिल मार हो जाएगा आई थिंक दैट्स द मोस्ट वंडरफुल थिंग दैट कैन हैपन सो अमरता इन योर थर्ड अटेम्प्ट में आपने क्लियर किया राइट तो व्हाट चेंज्ड ओवरऑल मेंस की तैयारी अब आपने इस बार क्या करी थी क्या डिफरेंट किया है आपने
So, sir, from my 2022 attempt, I knew that there were some papers that I did not do great at.
हम्म
जैसे मेरा essay का paper was, मतलब I realized that my examples were very similar, and
हम्म
both my essays sounded so similar that मतलब when I wrote the essay paper and I got out of it, I knew कि
हम्म
मतलब nothing, it's not going right. And then
हम्म
the same in the GS3 paper as well, I could not give enough statistics and numbers because I hadn't put in that kind of मतलब hours to revising it, so दिमाग में कुछ रहा ही नहीं.
हम्म
So those were two faults that I realized, and so when I and again of course I hadn't given many full length test papers as well. So
हम्म
writing practice भी नहीं थी, content का development and presentation work as well.
हम्म
Bringing more diagrams into your GS1 paper where you have the geography. So
हम्म
all these things were lacking. So this time I decided I'll give more full length papers. PSIR maybe I will try to work more at a topic subtopic level, so that was helpful. SMA, I started understanding the benefit of using anecdote, trying
हम्म
to look at it from a creative angle rather than just from it's a UPSC answer mode, because you just look at
A
a
lot of people
essay.
do that. A lot of people do that.
Exactly, so
तो
so
मतलब
that huh
tell me more
yes sir.
about your essay का point of sort of एक तो number one, how much did you score in essay this time?
This time I believe 105,
Hmm.
106. There's still scope to grow, sir,
Yeah.
but it's a
तो what's your
improvement.
take on the essay? क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग as you say मतलब वहाँ GS आंसर लिखाते हैं.
I think I had the same issue. I had so many issues in that. Matlab, so again, to write a better essay, it's not just about giving your uh, arguments and counter arguments. It's also about how you can make your essay stand apart, because
Hmm.
the evaluator has the same essay topic. Is going to look at it at least 10 different times in the same day.
Hmm.
So what examples will set you apart? Like most of the famous personalities are going to be quoted like a lot of times. So what
Hmm.
sets you apart there? Second, how you begin the essay. So one method was anecdotal. Another method was you take a futuristic point of view, some
Hmm.
sort of a temporal scale bana lo, ki this is
Hmm.
what the past is, this is the future, and then you try to create a story around that.
Hmm.
So things like this make your essay stand out, I feel.
Hmm.
So that was one thing that was helpful. Second was I realized this, that what I was doing was I was giving same argument के लिए 10 different examples rather
Hmm.
than giving 3 4 arguments and then an example for each. So
Hmm.
I didn't realize this issue until like a very long time, and somebody in the while evaluating my essays, they were like, Amar, they would just keep repeating the same argument, where is the counter argument? I would never even write counter arguments. It would just be arguments for like supporting my stand or whatever.
Hmm.
So it required a change on my end as well, ki like how do I switch from there.
Hmm.
And I worked on these two things, matlab, one having more distinct examples, and two uh, formatting my essay in a way where I'm giving arguments, counter arguments,
Hmm.
trying to create some sort of conclusion to it, and again matlab, wo introduction wala part, how do I make it better. Those
Hmm.
things I believe it helped.
Right. And finally, interview में मतलब what did you learn from the first interview that you sort of improved in the second one? क्या change किया?
I think first interview, I was very nervous. I think no amount of those mock interviews can prepare you for the actual event.
True.
थोड़ा सा वो surprising हो जाता है. Like you just see
But
these
surprising से ज्यादा I feel वो aura वाली चीज हो जाती है कि you're
yes,
finally there and like finally you're sitting in front of the UPSC panel and XYZ तो एक फिर I think UPSC also likes to cook its candidates क्योंकि आप 1 घंटे तक वेटिंग रूम में बैठे होते हो unless you're the first person going in तो उससे
both
पहले कोई
times I was the first, sir.
ओके तो देन तुम्हारा इतना कुकिंग नहीं हुआ फिर भी
Yes, sir.
बट लाइक हाउ डिड इट गो क्या था इस बार मतलब हाउ वाज इट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द लास्ट टाइम
It was different because I was more sure of myself. I think when I was giving my mocks this time as well, I gave a few with UPSC prep as well. I
Hmm.
realized that I was more confident. I was letting the questions सुन रहा था मैं ठीक से absorb कर पा रहा था. I
Hmm.
was not reacting. I was responding to those questions. So that was very helpful.
Hmm.
And over these 3 years, some sort of content भी आपका develop होने लग जाता है. So your mind works a little bit matlab, very very fast during the whole interview wala phase. So I was, and again, not showing that stress there in the
Hmm.
interview, not letting it affect you. चाहे कुछ भी टेढ़े मेढ़े सवाल आ जाए, when I gave my 22 का attempt, कोई भी टेढ़ा मेढ़ा सवाल आ जाता था, I would try to defend my position, get trapped, and मतलब I
Hmm.
remember so many experiences where I felt like मतलब अब तो मुझे like I'm gonna get laughed out of this interview, but that thankfully didn't happen. So
Hmm.
yeah, those things like being more sure of myself, having better content, I
Hmm.
think really helped me in this particular interview round, sir.
Right. So I think overall, if you have any feedback to give us, because ऊपर नीचे I think mocks में obviously you were there, but any other मतलब thing that we did that was helpful, not,
Yeah,
so we'd love to hear
absolutely,
from you.
absolutely. I think one of the things that I matlab, hands down say I've written about it in my blog series as well, that in 2022 the one of the big reasons cleared means was that you guys had released a PDF,
Hmm.
so which had the SDG goals, the sustainable development goals, and uske andar har mein teen char you had given statistics about it, and it
Hmm.
was a simple 3 page ka document tha, zyada kuch bhi nahi tha usme, and it was so simple. But like before every mains exam and before subah उठ के I would just read through it simply because it's just very crisp notes that you can use anywhere. Matlab,
Hmm.
I had read about it ki in your conclusions, if you just write ki okay, you connect your whatever thing you have written to an sustainable development goal, put a fact around it. It
Hmm.
works wonders. So I think that was very helpful. I don't know if I missed it or whatever. I did not find it in 2024 wala. Like I was searching desperately for it. Ki
You could
like
have
kahin
just
se
like messaged. I think you could have reached out. We would have sent it to you.
I'm so yeah, that was a miss on my end, and
Hmm.
like then I had to depend on some other substandard material, and it just wasn't good enough because again मतलब now institutes have made it so diversified कि मतलब हर subject का they are creating these fact sheets, and I feel like that's not the right approach क्योंकि these things, right, they're so cross functional that it's better to have one fact sheet which can be
Hmm.
used across different GS papers. So that was
Absolutely.
something मतलब that document was worth its weight in gold when I gave 2022 का attempt.
I think, and that's the sort of idea कि even the subjects are interlinked, right? It's not like कि भाई
Yes.
GS1 का कुछ एक question जैसे बहुत बार यही होता है कि भाई urban flooding or something related to water will also come in GS1. It will also come in GS3, and sometimes they'll also ask you an ethical dimension of something in GS4, which can then also be covered up in GS2.
Yes.
So since the subjects are cross-functional, cross-counterlinked, so मतलब it
Yes.
makes sense. Baki, obviously, as you say, Mother will also update and reshare that document one more time. So, Mother, I'll send that to you first and foremost.
Thank you, sir.
So, overall, Amartya, let's say that you've come across somebody who's just starting UPSC preparation and they ask you for some advice. What is one piece of advice that you would give to them with now, your perspective of, okay, went to interview, failed prelims, and then cleared. So, what would you say?
I mean, if I'm complete new to this entire UPSC thing, I
Hmm.
would say, and I'm not, trying to inflate it in any way. I would just direct them to Abhijit sir's YouTube channel. And this is no joke. I'm not trying to, raise kahin pe
Hmm.
bhi. I'm not trying to show it big. I have always like I think I've said it before as well that I've always loved your no frills ka attitude. आप कुछ भी you don't leave anything on the table. You just जो है उतना ही है मतलब there are very simple things you have to do in civil services examination to
Hmm.
crack it, and if you're consistent enough you will get through it. If you're a complete newbie तो जैसे आप में I've seen your videos on time management. How do
Hmm.
you plan a very successful like every subject, right? You break it into small chunks and then you create a plan around it how you're going to cover it. So I've
Hmm.
seen time schedules that you have shared which I have used. Personally I've used it for 2024 and 22 as well. So I know ki those are very simple things. Third, students go very wrong in kaun sa book materials le. So again you have told ki stick to the very simple standard ones. So
Hmm.
इसीलिए आई डेंट फॉलो 100 डिफरेंट फेलोज. आई एक बार बस फॉलो किया था, ना बॉट दिस जीसी लॉन्ग बुक. दैट बुक इज स्टिल क्लोज, मतलब एक पेज भी आई मस्ट नॉट हैव टर्न दैट बुक.
हम्म
So that was completely useless. I should
हम्म
have just stuck to मेरे जो standard जो क्या कहते हैं NCERT के text books हैं. I should have gone through it and it would have been fine.
हम्म
So like there's no point in just collecting resources is what I'm trying to say. So
हम्म
again, if there's a newbie, I would just recommend please follow आपका YouTube channel. There are very simple videos. There's no extra frills around it. जो
हम्म
है उतना ही है. There is no complex jadoo tona here involved in this particular exam. And if you follow those simple guidelines, ki, like keep your resources small, keep it
हम्म
concise, and be consistent in your work, timely karo. So I think it's very likely someone can, matlab, you can do really well in this exam.
I think you've summed it up pretty well. मतलब thank you for the recommendation, obviously. But कि भाई बेसिक चीजें हैं, कंसिस्टेंटली करते रहो, और
Yes.
मतलब बिना बात के 10 चीज के पीछे भागने की जरूरत नहीं है. जो बेसिक है वो करते रहो, you'll be fine. I think you'll make it. But that's the problem, right? कि आज की डेट में with all of the distractions and all of the things that keep coming up and popping up, and like this is the magical source that has been found. इधर से इतना सवाल है. Like
Yes.
one of the best videos that I saw was कि कि किट कैट के कवर पे जो मतलब sort of वो आते हैं
Right.
लोकेशंस,
Yes,
यूपीएससी
sir.
वहां से सवाल पूछ रहा है, तो जनता लगी भी है किट कैट कवर कर रहे हैं. मतलब it's great entertainment, but like sometimes I think it's also very distracting. But anyhow, so one last question I'd ask from you about that. So if there is one book that you would like to recommend that everybody should read apart from syllabus, what would be that one book?
Oh. Uh,
Right? It can be anything. It can be fiction, non-fiction. It can be like biography, whatever it is that you feel ki, like it's a great piece.
correct, sir. I think I've been into a little bit of science fiction. So in that, there's this author called Blake Crouch. His
Hmm.
book Dark Matter. I
Yeah.
think that book, and then there is another one that I'm forgetting the name, but it's a really interesting book.
Hmm.
Someone who just wants to, relax, wants to get the thrill out of some literary material which is away from, the whole
Yeah.
UPSC material. They should
Hmm.
definitely read that book.
Absolutely awesome. Thank you for the recommendation. I think you mentioned this also at the time of the interview. तो तब से तुमने वही पढ़ी है और वही चल रहा है तुम्हारा.
Hey, sir. Well, that I keep as standard, but yeah, I've read others.
Right. So I think as a counter, I would say that there's this really nice series called The Final Architecture.
Okay, sir. I'll
So it was
see.
a very, very different sort of a thing. The first
Uh-huh.
book is called Shards of the Earth.
Okay.
So send me your address after this. I'll send you a copy of that book and have fun with it. Obviously, prelims के
Thank
बाद
you, sir.
करना जब टाइम मिले. अभी तो
Yes, sir.
वो prelims के तरफ फोकस करो.
Yes, sir.
And again, congratulations, Amartya. All the best on your journey.
Thank you so much, sir.